A very good morning, wherever you're watching us from. This is Kirk in the morning. I hope you had a nice weekend, and this is the last day of the month of October. Last Monday of the month. We begin November tomorrow, but we have a lot to inform you all through the month of October. Of course, my name is Vincent Kirosi, taking this opportunity to invite you to this live show. Of course, remember that you can join us on our Facebook page, on our Twitter channel, of course, Kirk TV Kenya. You can also weigh in on our conversation this morning on our social media pages, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, Kirk TV Kenya on Twitter, and of course on our SMS number 0111 220044, and we'll be able to weigh and look at what you've said at the tail end of this show. We have a lot lined up for you, of course, including the newspaper review. We have a guest in studio today. We are talking about oral or dental hygiene. You don't want to miss that, because there's a lot that you need to know that is so basic that you might be missing out as far as your dental hygiene is concerned. But first things first, let's have a look at what is happening on the roads this morning on our traffic update. Well, let's have a look at the major roads leading to the CBD this morning. Having a look at Langata Road, of course, as always. Doesn't look bad, a little bit of a snarl up on the roundabout, and of course where it meets with Mbagathi Way, a little bit of traffic there, but moving to the city slowly. Ngong Road, city bound, a little bit busy this morning. Snarl ups all the way to Kenyatta Hospital, all the way to community area there, a little bit of traffic connecting to Kenyatta Avenue, of course. Having a look at Landis Road connecting to, or that's Jogo Road, of course, connecting to Landis Road, a little bit of traffic as well, especially on the roundabout and around the area of Mudhurwa Market there, and the Shaurimoyo area there, and of course just a little bit of traffic on your way to the city this morning. Look at Mombasa Road looking a little bit friendly this morning, a little bit of traffic just on the roundabout of Nyayo Stadium, but as always, the expressway is express for what it is, so if you want to have an easier way into the city, if you're on Mombasa Road, use the expressway. So basically that is what is happening on the roads this morning. James Gishuru Road, into the city doesn't, into connecting to, of course, Westlands, doesn't look as bad, but a little bit of a snarl up around the Sarit area there, and of course all your way to Uhuru, connection to Uhuru Highway this morning. So basically that is what is happening on the roads this morning. As always, plan yourself well to get into your destination on time. Well, so basically that's an update on the road. As I told you, if you want to plan yourself, or if you want to get to the city well, just plan yourself well, and get into your destination time. It's always good to get out of the house early, because you don't know, you can't really predict on what will happen on your way to your destination this morning. So it's better to plan and be on time, and take the alternative routes if necessary, depending on the area that you come from. Well, after the traffic update, it's time to look at the top stories in the dailies this morning. Of course, with me here, I have the Daily Nation, the Standard, and we begin with the Daily Nation, the top page. Acid test for Raila. Kalonzo and Karua engaging what political observers see as plans to take the mantle from the ODM leader. But the the headache here is the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition exit clause comes alive next week, triggering a fresh dilemma for Raila Odinga and the outfit, which does not seem to have a clear post-election plans, jostling ahead of the 2027 elections. Also poses a major headache in the coalition, with the opposition chief indicating that he is not ready to retire yet after his 5th presidential loss in August. Of course, there is a clause that they signed in the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, a contract that binds them that after 3 months they will be able now to, you know, begin the process of exiting the coalition if necessary. So we wait until next week to see if that is going to be the case, and if it's the case, then what is the aftermath and what is going to be, you know, the future of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. Now, another story that is catching my attention this morning is on the murder of the Pakistani journalist, that is Arshad Sharif. There's a story there in page 2 where the Nation reports that medics conducting a second post-mortem on Pakistani journalist find a bullet in his chest. It says that 8 pathologists conducting a second post-mortem on the Pakistani journalist who was killed in Kenya last week found a bullet lodged in his chest. Nation can now reveal, of course, the pathologists from Pakistani Institute of Medical Sciences, that's PIM, say they have found a metal which they later identified as a bullet when they conducted the post-mortem on Wednesday last week after Mr. Arshad Sharif's body arrived in his home country. They handed the bullet to police officers, and they say now, the investigators say that this is going to be a big lead to, you know, into the investigations on what exactly killed and who exactly could have, you know, released or shot that fatal bullet that killed this journalist. You want to read more about the story, just get your Nation newspaper this morning and have a look at page 2, the story covered extensively by the journalist there. I flip over to page 4. Ruto allies hang on to hope of clinching top state jobs. After failing to make it to the cabinet and missing out in the shortlist for PSS, dozens of the president's lieutenants are still cooling their heads at home. You will look at Hassan Omar there. There is Rashid Echesa. There is Isaac Ruto, Cleophas Malala, Okoth Bado, and Justin Mudama, just to mention but a few who, you know, were very close lieutenants of the president right now, and they are waiting to see if at all the president will grant them a chance in government, either in the, you know, chief administrative secretary positions or other appointive positions, because as it seems they are not in the shortlist for the of course for the principal secretaries. Let's have a look at page 4, where you know, the president yesterday attended an interdenominational church service in Murang'a County, and he said sorry to the church on the kennel chaos that took place in 2020 during his when he was in the region for a political rally where youth, rival youth clashed, and even a life was lost. That is it. If you want to read that story on page 1 on the Azimio exit clause activation to test coalition strength, read in page 6 and page 7, and it's covered extensively by the Nation. I flip over to the last page of the Nation, where 250,000 teachers will supervise this year's largest number of candidates. Of course, as the class 6, that's grade 6, the standard 8 and form 4 learners prepare to sit for exams. It says that the TSC will deploy over 250,000 teachers as center managers, supervisors, and invigilators and examiners. Of course, the exams begin in November 25th. Or through to November, of course, to December, when the Form 4s will have concluded their examination. That's the Nation. What is in the Standard this morning, the top page? Unions oppose Ruto's plan to hit salaried staff. They say that workers say unless the cost of living is brought down, the new tax plan will be an extra burden. But President maintains he will push through with the recommendation to have employees in formal jobs pay up. Of course, this is where the president is saying that it's a time that now even the tax, regimes are adjusted into a way that all formal workers are going to pay more or pay up, including, the savings into the NSSF and, of course, the NHIF. We wait and see that story written on page 4 and 5 by the Standard. Now, on politics, jitters in Mount Kenya over Azimio's future. They have captioned there, they give us a few, quotes from the leaders in that coalition, one of them being Kanini Kega, who says, if I wanted to be re-elected, I could have insulted the former president, say he had neglected our region, but I chose the truth, and even if the situation is repeated, I'll stand with Uhuru. And there is this one called Charles Kibiru, who says the Azimio coalition party is done and dusted. I moved on to other private and business matters. I have kept off politics. And now there is the SG of Jubilee Party, that is Jeremiah Kioni. We have held 3 meetings with Azimio coalition organs and the top leadership led by Raila and Uhuru. By next year, Azimio will be back in full force and it shall present itself as the alternative government. We wait and see, because the leader of the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition as well, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, said that soon he'll issue a major statement. We wait to see what will be major about his statement when that happens. Now we look at page 4 and 5 of the Standard. More pain for salaried workers as Ruto plans to raid pockets. Of course, if you want to have a look at that, they say that those earning a gross salary of shillings 50,000 will now, currently the deduction to that is 8,683. But including the proposed, deductions, the new proposed deductions by the president into the NSSF and the NHIF rates, it means that if you're earning at least 50,000, now you're going to cough out 10,503 as, part of the statutory deductions, and that is an increase of 21%. If you're earning 150, you're currently being deducted around 39,000. Now you are going to be deducted 45,978. That's an increase of 30.7%. If you're earning 500,000, you're going to be deducted 178,628, up from 144,108. That is an increase of 34.9%. This is just part of the new proposals that the new government is bringing in place to ensure that the deductions and contributions into NSSF and NHIFs are upped for the sake of other wananchi who are under that pay radar. Ruto quotes Kuto FKE to drop NSSF cases. We wait and see how that goes. If I flip over to the last page of the Standard, it's about sports, and in there it's the good pictorials on the Stanchart Marathon that took place this weekend, where it was for a good cause. Of course, very good pictures there. And of course, other stories, including Arsenal walk through Forest with no fear. A 5-star performance by Arsenal yesterday, beating Nottingham Forest 5-0. Manchester United winning 1-0 against, of course, West Ham United. That is part of what's written in the top 2 newspapers in the country, the Standard and the Nation. You want to read more, just grab your favorite and you'll be able to get these stories deeply. Right about now, it's time to take a short break. We'll be back with a look at some top stories this weekend, and of course into our conversation this morning. Don't go away. Of course, remember that you can engage us on our social pages, that is Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, Kirk TV Kenya on Twitter, as well as other pages including our Instagram and TikTok pages, of course. and our YouTube channel, Kirk TV Kenya. Our SMS number is 0311 220044. We'll be able to look at your feedback even as we continue with the conversation. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Christmas already here at Kirk TV, the season of cheer and goodies. Are you a church organization and would like to air your end of year and New Year services? Are you thinking of reaching a wider audience and showcasing your Christmas cantatas and concerts? Have you thought about showcasing your Sunday school services to the entire country? Then, Kirk TV is offering you the end year advert bonanza. We will cover and broadcast all the above events at up to 50% off our normal rates starting this October till January 2023. Usiwachwe nyuma hii krisi. Call our sales team now on 0738 278 506 or 0739 971 607. Send an email bnkogie@kirktv.org or munyoroku@kirktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the Kirk TV End Year New Year Advert Bonanza. We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@kirktv.org, SMS 0111 220044 or call us on 0794 588 054. We appreciate how valuable your assets are. Property insurance helps give your life back when disaster strikes. At Kirk Insurance Agency, we will guide you to a property cover that best fits your unique needs. Do not let unexpected property loss throw off your plans. Contact us now on 0700 161 262 or 0780 203 203. Email us kirkinsurance@pca.or.ke. Kirk Insurance, a step into comfort and peace.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
Kirk TV is very promising, and judging from what is happening with other media houses, I would just say that our hope is that Kirk TV will continue to thrive, and even to outdo many other stations. It will continue to mission, and we also look at a point where Kirk TV will be the station of choice, not just for Presbyterians, as we say, but for all Christians across the board. We are looking at a situation where Kirk TV, again, as we are doing right now, will be the station where, because we have so many other stations, Christian stations, but you want to be seen as that one station which gives the right doctrine, you know, the right doctrine, and also a station whereby it will be able to bring together all the churches, all Christians together, as opposed to segmentizing, Christians. Yeah. So we look at that point where everything Christian will be
under one roof.
at the one
That
roof,
is
and that is Kirk TV.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Are you looking to be a homeowner? Or are you looking into investing in land? Then worry no more. PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited presents to you Fadhili Annex Gardens 50 by 100 plots. Located in Katafu Road, approximately 8 kilometers from the main road, the plots sell at affordable prices of 460,000 Kenya shillings for PCEA Housing Cooperative Society members and 500,000 Kenya shillings for non-members. Pay a deposit of 150,000 Kenya shillings and the balance is payable in 6 monthly installments. All the plots have ready titles. For more information, call 0708-145-222, 0708-145-222 or email pceahousinglimited@gmail.com. Fadhili Annex Gardens by PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now let's have a look at what transpired through the weekend. Let's get an update. And of course, this weekend, the President William Ruto attended an interdenominational prayer service at Gakironi Karigweni grounds in Kenol, Murang'a, where he said that the Kenya Kwanza administration is determined to lower the cost of living and create a conducive environment for economic growth. Ruto has said that several projects, one affordable housing, will be launched this week, with the Hustler Fund project planned to roll out in December 1st this year.
How are you?
Opportunity to come before you. Lord, thank you for calling us your children.
Nimefika hapa leo watu wa Murang'a, pia nipate nafasi ya kuwashukuru watu wa Murang'a, nikiwashukuru watu wa Kenya. Na washukuru zaidi kwa sababu tulikuja hapa na ndugu zangu hawa, tukawaomba kura zenu, tukawaomba mkubali tushirikiane pamoja na nyinyi, mkawa ni watu wa imani na mkatuamini, na ndio Mungu akatubarikia tukaunda serikali pamoja. Mimi nimesimama mbele yenu leo kusema asante sana. Tumepanga ile mpango ya Hustler Fund ambayo tunaianzisha Disemba tarehe 1. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie kwamba ile platform tunaleta ya Hustler Fund itakuwa na mambo matatu ya muhimu. Ya kwanza, itakupatia mkopo kwa riba ya chini, less than 10% per year. Number 2, itakupatia nafasi ya kufanya saving. Wakati unafanya biashara, pia unaweka akiba. Na jambo la tatu, ukiweka akiba, serikali ya Kenya, ukiweka shilingi 2, serikali ya Kenya inakupatia shilingi 1. Wale ambao wanafanya biashara hiyo, hasa wale ambao hawana ajira.
Speaking at the same event, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that the President William Ruto's administration is ready to fulfill their campaign promises and make the lives of Kenyans better. While throwing jabs at Azimio's leader Raila Odinga, Gachagua has stated the Kenya Kwanza government is not interested in working with the opposition.
The President
was confirmed.
Honorable Joseph Munyoro, MP Kegumo.
Na mnajua ya kwamba yale maneno rais wetu alisema tutatengeneza uchumi. Bei ya kila kitu imeanza kuteremka, haijaanza kuteremka. Si unga imeanza kuteremka? Si gazi imeanza kuteremka? Rais wetu alisema hatutaki tuteremshe siku moja ya kufurahisha watu. Tutafuta suluhisho ya kudumu. Na mambo ni kupeana fertilizer kwa wakulima, alafu bei ya chakula itateremka. Mtupatie muda tu kidogo, miezi kadhaa, na mbele iko sawa. Na vile rais wetu ameanza kutimiza ahadi zake zote kwetu, tuna imani akisaidiwa na Mungu na sisi tukimsaidia, atarudisha pesa mfukoni vile alituahidi. Na kwa hivyo sisi, we feel good that we made the right decision. We never made a mistake. Jana nimeona wale wazee tulishinda. Ati hiyo mzee akisema at he'll not be coerced or intimidated to joining our government. Wewe mzee sikia. We have no business within our government. Hatuna haja na hatugojei wewe, we are not looking for you and we have no time. The last time uliingia serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta aliharibu wako haribu. Mungetaka akaribie serikali yetu? Mungetaka akaribie? Stop saying that people can force you to come to this government. Forget about being forced or coerced. We are not interested because sisi tuko na kazi ya kufanya. Na kazi ya kufanya tumepata rais ambaye ako na maono ya kufanya kazi. Na hatutaki usaidizi kwa huyo mzee. Si tumeweka wale sababu ya kumsaidia? Na Profesa Tongo si yako hapo? Si mimi niko? Si Ndete Nyoro wako hapo? Usaidizi gani mwingine angetaka kutoka pande hiyo? Hawa wakae huko wafanye kazi ya oversight. Watukosoe, watuambie pahali tumekosea, watukaze kule bunge, hiyo ndio kazi yao, na wakifanya hiyo kazi
The Anglican Church of Kenya Mombasa Diocese Bishop Alphonse Baya Mwaro has warned government officials against using the money meant to distribute food to Kenyans in drought-stricken areas in the country for their personal use. Addressing the media at the Mombasa Memorial Cathedral after leading a Thanksgiving and Harvest Mass for the Agricultural Society of Kenya ASCK Mombasa branch, Mwaro said that no Kenya should die of hunger. Bishop Mwaro appealed to the government to undertake what he termed a strategic preparedness so that the matter does not reoccur. He further called on the government to ensure that no Kenyan dies of hunger and that every Kenyan affected by the situation receives enough food and water.
So it is a responsibility for all of us to support where we can so that we mitigate the current challenges and the problem of poverty, drought, and hunger. As we all know, it is a shame that today people are dying of hunger, today are dying because of starvation and lack of water. Yet with good strategic preparedness, these are challenges which are not necessarily for Kenyans because we have everything necessary. We are properly endowed and gifted to give food for everyone in this country. Yes, I appealed to the government to undertake what we call strategic preparedness so that this matter does not occur again. Kenyans should not die.
Elsewhere, the Orange Democratic Movement ODM has been accused of trying to impose a candidate on the South Game ward residents ahead of the by-election slated for December 8, 2022. Area residents are now threatening to vote in a candidate from a different party should ODM ignore their calls and impose an unpopular candidate. While addressing the media during a demonstration against party officials, the residents say that the next party candidate must be one of those who participated in the party's nominations ahead of the last general elections, claiming that previous interference party officials saw ODM lose the seat to an independent candidate during the 2017 elections.
Today we are gathered here to express our anger about what is taking place in ODM. there are some ODM members who feel that they have financial muscles to squash the will of the South Game members. We as the South Game members, we are against that. We want a free and fair nomination. We want the will of the South Gamians to be respected.
Tulienda kwa uchaguzi wa nomination 2017 na wakaleta wengine wenye hawakuchagua mpaka mtu wa independent alichukua hapa. Mara huu tena walileta mtu mwenye alichukua alikuwa mtu nambari 3. Sasa hii tena tunaenda lose. Sasa tunaomba Akuba pamoja na baba Raila Amolo Odinga kuja South Game utusaidie.
Tuko na uchaguzi ambao tulifanya ya nomination ya ODM na candidates walikuwa watu 9 na ambayo tulikuwa nayo shida yenye mwenye alipewa certificate alikuwa namba 3, wakawacha namba 1 kwa sababu alikuwa na matatizo kidogo. Sasa ilikuwa natakana certificate pewe namba 2. Hawakufanya hivyo, alienda akatoa pesa kwa sababu wako na pesa, anajiita yeye mwenyewe tycoon dosa ya South. Hiyo hatujali.
Wenye wako mbele kwa ODM, jameni, tusaidieni. Tunasikia fununu ya kwamba hii tiketi ya ODM inataka kupeanwa kwa mtu mwingine ambayo hajawahi hata siku moja akuwe mwanasiasa. Ajui hata boundary ya South Game iko wapi. Ajui hata polling stations za South Game ni ngapi. Jameni, sasa mtu kama huyo ataenda kutufanyia nini huko mbele?
We are not going to accept losing party again as we have lost other parties to other communities.
Well, that is it on our news by this morning. Just a recap of what happened for the weekend and what we anticipate to happen going through this coming week into the new month. We want to take a short break, but we'll be right back to have a chat this morning, our conversation on all issues or oral health and of course dental hygiene, if you want to call it that way, together with our guest in studio, Dr. Karime Kinyo, who has just arrived, and we're going to ensure that we give you the best of the knowledge that we can try to get out of her, so that at the end of it all you have all your teeth healthy. Don't go away, I'll be back shortly with our guest in studio on issues oral health.
It's Christmas already here at Kirk TV. Are you a business looking to advertise your brand and products to potential customers? Are you looking to improve your sales as we end the year? Starting this October till January 31st, 2023, we are offering you, our customer, various discounts up to 50% off our advertising rates. Imagine paying half the price to reach customers countrywide. Usiwache nyuma hii krisi. Call our sales teams now on 0738-278-506 or 0739-971-607. Contact us on email bnkogie@kirktv.org or munyoroku@kirktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the Kirk TV and your advert bonanza. PCEA Communication Department is a department under the church mandated to sell and not limited to clergy outfit, inspirational books, practice and procedure, PP, diaries, calendars, church group equipment, among other church items. 2023 diaries and calendars will be available for sale starting this November. To book yours, call 0715 376 342 or 0727 559 935. Send an email pceajitegemeapress@yahoo.com.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
Keep it Kirk now and going forward. We have a lot of family programs, and this being a Christian commercial station, we will partner with you as institutions, as individuals, so that we are able to reach out to the entire world. One person said that my parish is the entire world, and I believe that Kirk TV is going globally, and therefore bring your business. We are going to advertise it and also partner with you.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Nikule hede thina okaga naguo thina ogahingura andu maitho na mo maitho macio makona uria mataronaga ira na iyo na ni undu wa kiama kia Ngai no tugi wake akahotithia andu uria matarahotaga. Nigwenda kumugwetera ati radio TV ino twina itagwo Kirk TV yatwire aragio horo wayo no konekaga ri horo muritu muno, no hindi ya covid irokire na turare muno guthie makanitha-ini niguo Kirk TV yoimirire na igituika uteithio munene muno wa gukinyagiria andu micii-ini uhoro tondu ni maremo ni guka makanitha-ini. Na riu to guku gwitu Kenya presbytery ciothe ona East Africa na ningi no nyende kumwira ati aria makoretwo magi ona meruraya mundu agitune no one Kirk TV toria rona muthiu maundu maya tureka ni mekuonwo round the world hari andu aria othe maragia gikuyu mangienda na tondu agitumi kiu tukumuria tondu ni mwene turaremererwo ni mwe TV iria ingi ni cionaga mbeca nyingi muno ni undu wa kwanirira unyi wa njohi na ugucia wa thigara na ningi uini wa dashi na nyimbo iria ingi ithiagwo manirira maundu macio na maundu mangi maingi makaheo mbeca nyingi na tondu itu ndingianirira njohi yahota kwa kwendo ni andu angi riu no turiria Kristiano undu nyamwe ni hota gukinyia horo meru na igakinyia meru horo yo ginya na Uganda na igakinyia horo kundu guothe nigetha TV ya Kirk ihota kuruta wira wega no tuheirwo iheo ni andu iheo cia mwanya kuri na iria ihuragwo nigetha mundu ahota kuheana one time gift keo kia rindi imwe kana mundu etikire kuheanaga hiyo mweri kana etikire kuheanaga thutha wa mieri 3 kana thutha wa mieri 4 kana etikire kuheanaga ihinda ta riria ringiheanwo na ningumuringiriria tondu ino ni yanyu na nimurehagire ohoro I suggest ati andu metekire kwiheana nigetha tuhota gukinyiria andu horo kuraya na rimwe ni tukwamaga tondu system ira turathi nayo ya signet ni mwene ni tuhinyaga hanini na ndiri hinya wega na aria mena hinya wega ni turemagwo ni guthi kurio ni tukumuria tafadhali mwateithio ni mwathani amukuithie murigo uyu niguo tutikae kugia na undu ucoke uturemerere ni ndamuringiriria mwitikire kwaria na mutungatiri na guku kwanyu mweheane please Kirk TV tumiturie ona icio ingi ni heagwo mbeca ni andu rekai tuturie Kirk TV na nigethe hota gukinyagia uhoro kuraya ihota gukinyia uhoro kuraya nigetha andu aingi maigue uhoro wa Ngai.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 4019613, account partner. Pay bill number 4019613, account partner.
Okay. Now, someone once said that every tooth in a man's mouth is more important than a diamond, and that is what we want to talk about this morning. It's all about dental hygiene or oral health. And in studio, I'm joined with one and only Karimi Kinywa, doctor, dentist this morning, who is going to help us understand what are the basics that you are not doing to ensure that your teeth are healthy. You might see it as basic and simple, but it's more complex than that. And that is why we have this specialist in studio to help us, break down what to do and not to do to ensure that, your dental health, your oral health is on point. Karibu sana, daktari.
Asante sana, Vincent.
Yes, good to have you in studio this morning.
Asante. Thanks for having me.
Weekend.
Yes, I had a very good weekend, actually.
Your journey here was, good as well? Because,
well,
a Monday morning is crazy in Nairobi.
Yeah, it was as good as Nairobi allows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Karibu sana, let's have this chat. When we talk about dental hygiene, what do we exactly mean?
Dental hygiene is basically keeping your teeth and your mouth healthy. Okay. And it's very simple when it comes to dental hygiene. It's about keeping it clean, and keeping it clean means brushing and flossing. And I tell people that even long time ago, we never used to have toothbrushes, but dental hygiene was still very present. So brushing is a very, very key part of dental hygiene. And there are very key things that go into the brushing. Most of us think brushing is just a 10-second routine thing that we do every morning. But brushing, and I tell most of my patients this, brushing at night is more important than doing it in the morning.
Why is it important?
Because when we go to bed, that's when the bacteria is most active. Number one, because our saliva production is low. And number two, because the oxygen levels are low. So the bacteria, that's when they want to now enjoy the environment and create issues, okay? So brushing at night is more crucial than in the morning. And people need to understand that. And it's a very simple thing, but very difficult to execute. But if you're doing that, then you're able to take care of a lot of issues.
People think, as you said, brushing during the night is important than in the morning.
Yes.
People think brushing the teeth is just for the people, not for themselves.
Yes.
People to look at their teeth when they laugh, when they smile, they see your teeth are clean and they're whiter.
Yes.
You don't, exude that bad odor. But it's not just about the people. It's about you. It's about your mouth. It's about your teeth.
Yes. I mean, of course, taking care of the people around you is also very important. But I tell people, if you want to take care of your teeth, brush at night. If you want to take care of your friends, brush in the morning.
Okay.
So it's very important to understand that concept. Of course, brushing in the morning is also very important because most of us will wake up with an odor, which is a very normal thing, by the way. But of course, the mouth is a gateway to so many social aspects, and so it's still important to do it in the morning for the sake of your colleagues, of your family members. But if you really want to take care of your teeth, and like you're saying, if it's a personal care issue, then brushing at night is what is vital, actually. Yeah.
Let's talk about now deeply about brushing itself.
Yes.
It's a simple routine,
yes,
but not as simple as it seems, because I hear there are ways and regimes sort of how to brush. Can you take us through that?
So I normally, to simplify it, I call it my 1, 2, 3, and 4. So number 1, I say 1 toothbrush, 1 person. That might be very obvious for some people, but there are people who are sharing toothbrushes, which is not the right way to go. So my number 1 is 1 toothbrush, 1 person.
Okay.
Number 2, you need to brush for 2 minutes. When you say 2 minutes, when it comes to daily life, it might look like a very short time. But when it comes to brushing, it's quite a while.
Yeah.
And most people, I can assure you, don't take the 2 minutes to brush their teeth.
We take around 30 seconds.
Even 10, yeah. So you need to do 2 minutes when you're doing your brushing. Then number 3 is that you need to replace your toothbrush every 3 months, okay? So I know there are people maybe who have not replaced their toothbrush in years. But toothbrush is like your car. You service your car every time it gets to a certain, mileage. So with toothbrushes, it's also very important to replace them every 3 months. And if you've had a cold or something, then it's also important to replace it after you've healed from the cold, because a toothbrush can be a source of reinfection. So the toothbrush you're using also is very important. Toothbrushes also wear out. You might be brushing every night, like I've said, you might be brushing for 2 minutes, but if your toothbrush is worn out, then it's not doing the proper job. And then number 4 is you need to brush in 4 directions, okay? Most of us do back, forth, right? You just do mbele nyuma, and you're done. But you need to do in circular motions, meaning you're doing back, forth, up, and down. So you need to brush in those circular motions so that you're able to get the entire surface of the tooth. If you're only doing back, forth, then you're missing parts of the tooth, especially along the gum line, where a lot of dirt tends to collect. So you need to do it in those movements so that you're able to get the entire surface of the teeth. Even when you're brushing the back of the teeth, you need to direct your toothbrush towards the gum line, move it up, move it back, move it forth. So always remember those 4 movements are very important.
Okay.
Yes.
That is it. But what about the kind of brush one uses? That also counts. That matters. You say that brushes wear out. But again, that quality of a brush.
Yes.
Does it matter, or end quality goes?
Well, to be honest, I don't recommend any one toothbrush for everyone. People prefer certain toothbrushes, and that is okay. And that's why regular dental visits are important, because your dentist is able to assess what is happening in the mouth, and then now they can guide you. Is your toothbrush too hard? Is your toothbrush too soft? But I normally recommend, anything above 100 shillings should be a good toothbrush. But there's not one particular toothbrush I recommend for my patients.
Most of the toothbrushes are around 50 shillings.
Yeah, well, it depends. By the way, even a 50 shilling toothbrush can be doing a good job. But it is hard to recommend that one toothbrush unless you're sitting on my dental chair and I'm able to assess how the brushing is going. And like I said, long time ago, people were not using toothbrushes, you know what I mean? They're using mswaki. They were just, breaking off a branch of a tree. And the toothbrushing was quite efficient actually. So it's not, and even in America now they are selling those Swakis, they are packaging them. So it's also more about the time you're taking and your technique, which also now can only be assessed by your dentist. But for my recommendations, I say 100 shillings and above should be a good toothbrush. But I am not blocking out the toothbrushes that are cheaper than that. Yes.
Of course, we're going to look at the do's and don'ts, but I want us to break this down a little bit and look at the oral health in, in children,
yes,
in adults,
yes,
and in older adults, if we may call them. So let's begin with children. You know, what you can do at your age, probably you can't do it to a kid of, say, a year or 2 years old. Can you tell us how to handle the dental hygiene of a baby, maybe say 6 months and above to say 3-4 years old?
That's a question I get a lot actually, like how soon should we start brushing the teeth, and how early should we do our dental visits? And one thing I'd want to say is that as soon as a tooth erupts in a child's mouth, that is the moment you need to start cleaning the tooth. Of course, for children, it might be very difficult to introduce a toothbrush. So what you can do for very, very young children, you can take a flannel, like we call it a washcloth, just a small one, dedicate it to dental hygiene, and use it to wipe, just put it in warm water and use it to wipe the surface of the tooth. Because what is important is the cleanliness of the tooth. In as much as toothpaste normally adds ingredients that help dental hygiene, but what is important is to make sure that the surface of the teeth are clean. So you can use the washcloth up to the point where you can introduce a toothbrush, which for most babies will be about 9 months to 1 year. And sometimes you'll hear parents saying, oh, but the teeth will come out eventually, so there's no need to take care of these teeth. Now for children, what is important is these teeth are normally the space maintainers for the permanent teeth. So this is what guides what your adult teeth will look like. So it's very, very important to take care of milk teeth, because they are what determines what your teeth will look like eventually. And then the other major point, I think, with children is when to replace the toothbrush. For an adult, I can say comfortably 3 months. For a child, you might have to do it every other month or every month, because children tend to chew on the toothbrush, and so they wear out faster. So that's, for children, you probably need to replace the toothbrush more regularly. Yeah.
And what about, of course, the kind of toothbrush that we use on a child is definitely different from the one that we can use on a grown-up.
Yes.
Because of, how in terms of the quality, in terms of hardness, softness, it should be different. But again, what about them when now you introduce what we call the toothpaste? Talk about the fluoride, the amount of fluoride that a kid needs and grown up. Are they the same?
No, they are not the same. Actually, for Kenya here, fluoride is an issue. We have too much of it in our water sources, in our vegetable sources, and in some areas it's more than others. And I know people have seen, sometimes you can look at someone's teeth and assume they were born in certain parts of the country. The amount of fluoride that's required in toothpaste is, nowadays we are lucky. If you go to the supermarket, they have labeled, the toothpaste according to ages. So when you go, you'll get 0 to 2 years, 2 to 5 years, and those are regulated. The fluoride levels are regulated. I think what's important to mention here is the amount of toothpaste that is required. Because when we look at some advertisements, they show you putting toothpaste from one end of the brush to the other, and it actually even comes back a little bit, right? But for children, the recommended amount of toothpaste is the size of a rice grain.
That is difficult to measure.
Yes, but it's technically telling you kind of just touching the toothbrush with it. So the amount of toothpaste required to keep your teeth clean is not as much as most of us think. And sometimes you think, oh, but that will not form well enough. But if you try it, it's actually an adequate amount for the forming. Yeah. And even in adults, what you need is the size of a pea, minji. You know, that small little seed is the amount that an adult needs. So you can imagine the amount a child needs. Yeah.
That would be really small.
So I'm saving people a lot of money when it comes to buying toothpaste.
Sure, because it means that I'll have that in my house for the next 6 months if I go to one. if I go as per what you're telling me to do.
Yes.
Now, and then what about a child? What is the right time for them now to visit, you know, do their first visit to the dentist, you know, after birth?
Well, the recommendation is about 1 year. 1 year to about 1.5 years, when all their milk teeth, most of them have come in. And visiting the dentist is not even just because of the dental health itself. A dentist is somebody you might require at some point, like when they're losing their milk teeth or if they develop any cavities, God forbid. But then when you make the dental visit a routine visit, then even the anxiety levels of the child goes down because this is something they are used to doing. So in as much as it's important to go and see a dentist for the health side, it's also very important when it comes to behavior management. Because even adults are afraid of dentists. And so children are definitely going to be 100 times more afraid. But if you make it a routine, then you're able to manage that behavior, and when they come and see you as the dentist, then they're very comfortable in that environment.
And let's look at now how to handle a child at home to ensure that their dental, you know, health is perfect. What are the do's and don'ts if I am a parent or a caregiver to a baby or a child? What should I ensure? Because, you know, children, sometimes they're not there. They go chewing things around, you know, and that goes to injure their dentals. What are the do's and don'ts for a caregiver?
I think for me the most important thing is, you know, what the child sees is what they'll do. And so if you are brushing your teeth every night before you sleep, then it makes it so much easier for your child to do it. And it's an activity you can do together. Even for my daughters, it's something that is a nightly routine that we perform together. And so they know toothbrushing is an essential part of their routine. And that is number one. So if you want your child to take care of their teeth, you need to take care of your teeth so that they're able to emulate that. And of course, there are certain foods that may accelerate tooth cavity process. And mostly, of course, these are sweet things or carbonated drinks like sodas or energy drinks. And those are things you want to reduce, not eliminate, but you need to reduce the use of those things. And then, of course, you need to promote the use of certain foods as well, like vegetables and fruits, and those promote the health of the teeth.
Actually, you talked about sweets, and someone once said that if you have cavities, then it means that you've led a sweeter life. You know, meaning that you've lived on sweet, you know, foods and all that. Now, anything that you feel that we should add on, you know, children dental hygiene before now we move further? Because I want us to move in that. You know,
I think, well, we were talking about fluoride before, and I said fluoride excess is a problem we have in Kenya, actually. And normally the effects of excess fluoride are seen when your permanent teeth come in. So as a child, you don't see those effects. In a child, you don't see those effects. So a child might be taking in a lot of fluoride, and then you only realize when they're about 6 years old when their permanent teeth come in. And the issue of the water that your children are drinking and the water that you're using to cook for your children is something that needs to be addressed. There are ways you can address it. You can either get a filter for your house so that you make sure that these filters are getting rid of excess fluoride. If somebody is accessing city council water, I know they treat it for excess fluoride. And if you're using bottled water, it's important to, there are places that actually test for what fluoride levels look like in your water. So if you're doing a certain brand, you can take a sample to one of those labs and they'll tell you, okay, this water is safe for your child to drink. And these effects are happen between 0 to 8 years. If you and I drink that water now, our teeth will probably not get affected. But if a child is taking this water between 0 to 8 years, then those are when the effects happen. But the problem is you don't see the effects immediately. You see them later on. So the quality of the water that your child is drinking, and not only drinking, the water you're using to cook food as well, is something that most parents need to look into. Yeah.
You know, talking about water, we come from different areas and regions, and we know that there are places where water is a problem itself.
Yes,
and you know, talking about salt water, how does salt water affect our teeth?
Mostly when we say salty water, we are only talking about the fluoride.
Okay.
Most often. Because the other minerals don't show the effects on teeth, and there are not any recordings anywhere that those other minerals have any effect. But when it comes to the fluoride salt now in water, that's where the problem comes in when it comes to dental health.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now I want us to move down. Of course, remember you can only weigh in our conversation this morning. Send your feedback, send your questions, if any. We have the expert in studio today, and we want to ensure that before she gets out of that door, she has left most of our expertise here for you to understand on what to do, what not to do, to ensure that you, your child, and even your parent who is older is healthy as far as dental, oral health is concerned. Now, let's move a little bit, now going forward and look at ours now. How do we ensure that our teeth are, healthy? We ensure the best of our dental hygiene is top level in our lives. Kama sisi, we walk around, we work, stress ya life ni mingi sana. So how do we ensure that even in that stress and even trying to get the best for your family, you also ensure that your health, your dental health is also catered for?
Yeah, and I think apart from my 1, 2, 3, 4s that I gave earlier, those are like
maybe we begin here by asking a question. Do we sometimes neglect our own mouths and teeth?
Yes, and teeth is a very, very neglected area actually. Most people will take it more seriously when it's other parts of the body. But once anyone who's hearing me and I say, once you start getting issues with your teeth, then you realize how important they are. Like you talked of diamonds.
Yeah.
Like now if I told you, Vincent, how much money can I give you to remove all your teeth right now? How much money would you take?
I can take an amount of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are very, very important. I think for adults, what I'd add is the importance of doing your dental checks. And people say, dentistry is very expensive. But the truth is, neglect is what is expensive. But if you're doing your regular checks and your regular cleaning, then money is not something you will be spending on your dental health. And it's a journey you need to walk with your dentist so that, just the way we go and do our hair at the salons and get our hair cut at the barber shop, and we are always trying to update our shoes and our outfit, and for us ladies, our makeup, is the same way we need to think, not just about dental health, but just our health generally.
Yes.
Yes. So for adults, I think the thing that I would encourage is to have regular dental checkups.
Regular dental checkups.
Yeah.
And of course, ensure these basics that you talked about.
Yes.
The one,
Number one was 1 toothbrush, 1 person.
Yeah.
And number 2 is brush for 2 minutes. Number 3 was replace your toothbrush every 3 months. And number 4 was use the 4 different directions to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in issues where now, you know, you have issues, you began seeing there is an issue with your teeth. How do you first get to know the real problem? Because it might begin as something simple, but how do you then get to know this is the real problem and the solution to this is this one? Of course, one of them is visiting a dentist.
Yes.
To begin from there. But what else?
Now, the only, I'll say this, when God created us, there were things that he made possible to regenerate. For instance, if I get a cut on my hand, even if I left it untreated and I don't get an infection, my skin will heal itself. It will leave a scar, but my skin will get healed. But when it comes to teeth, unfortunately, it does not regenerate. By the time you're feeling something, you're feeling some sensitivity, you're feeling pain, it does not magically disappear unless you get treated at the dentist. And that's one thing that makes dentists very important. Even with bones, when you fracture a bone, depending on where you fracture it, the bones sometimes will just heal and fuse again. But when it comes to teeth, it needs manual intervention. So the minute you start to feel some sensitivity, that's the right time to go, because if you ignore it, then the sensitivity will turn into pain, and for some people the pain will turn into a swelling, and it's downhill from there. So when it comes to teeth, any symptoms that you feel, it's best to visit the dentist as soon as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the signs and symptoms of such? You know, people might be watching and they might not be understanding.
Yes.
You know, this is a sign and this is a symptom that needs for me now to go visit a dentist, because it could be a serious issue. So what are some of the signs and symptoms that there is an issue with a person?
I think I can classify it into 4 things, just to generalize on some of the issues that you may feel. Sensitivity is one of the most common ones. So if you're taking your hot drink or your cold drinks, then you feel some discomfort, then that's a sign and symptom that something is happening. You find people who tell you, you know, Daktari, I normally, when I'm sipping my coffee, I swallow it with this side because there's something happening on this side. That's something that is happening. Number 2, of course, is pain. Pain is your body telling you something is definitely not right here. So if you have any toothaches, some people only experience it when they are eating. When they're not eating, they're comfortable, they tend to ignore that. But if you feel pain at any point, then that is a sign and symptom that you need dental attention. Okay. And then we have bleeding gums. Because a lot of times when you think about dental health, we only think about the health of the teeth. We forget that there are soft tissues around that tooth. And gum health is also very important. Gum structure is what keeps your teeth supported. If your gums have an issue, then your teeth do not have support. And it can lead to tooth loss. You can actually lose perfectly healthy teeth because of gum disease. So if you're having bleeding gums, that's a sign of, you know, your gums are not in good shape, and you might end up losing some teeth because of that. And the last thing is bad breath. Sometimes bad breath occurs it's like normal, Of course, if you've had certain foods, you know, like with lots of onions, lots of garlic, that's a normal situation to have bad breath. If you have morning breath, that's kind of normal to have it. But if you're having bad breath throughout the day, it could be a sign of something is happening. You either have a cavity or you have gum disease. So bad breath is also a large indication of something might be going wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want us to take a short break. When we come back now, we'll delve deeper into understanding some of these. You know, you've used bad breath, you know, bleeding gums and all that. And now we know there may be diseases that are associated with that. I think it's important we look into that and understand what is their cause and the remedies. But before then, I want, even as we take the break, I want you to ponder on these questions so that when we come back, you'll be able to, you know, help us understand them. There's one sent by Molly who's saying that at what point will a dentist consider an extraction? And there is another one here from Jeru. Is it necessary to use mouthwash even when I am brushing my teeth consistently? And what time will be best for me to use that mouthwash? There is another one here sent by Dev Peaks Production. What causes bad breath and how do I avoid that, Daktari? At least those three. We go for a break, we come back. You help us understand that. All right, we are taking a short break. We'll be back with, of course, our guest in studio, dentist Dr. Karemi Kinywa this morning, helping us understand matters, oral hygiene matters, dental health, dental hygiene for that matter, in all ages, not just a child, not me, but even your parent out there at home. They need to understand this and how, you know, to maintain their teeth for, you know, they've been here for 60, 70 years and they need that for them to continue enjoying that beef or nyama choma. So you need to have them, you know, maintain that health. So we take this short break. Continue sending in your feedback and your questions. We'll be able to, you know, sample them as we continue the conversation shortly after this break.
Christmas already here at Kirk TV, the season of cheer and goodies. Are you a church organization and would like to air your end of year and New Year services? Are you thinking of reaching a wider audience and showcasing your Christmas cantatas and concerts? Have you thought about showcasing your Sunday school services to the entire country? Then, Kirk TV is offering you the end year advert bonanza. We will cover and broadcast all the above events at up to 50% off our normal rates starting this October till January 2023. Usiwachwe nyuma hii krisi. Call our sales team now on 0738 278 506 or 0739 971 607. Send an email bnkogie@kirktv.org or munyoroku@kirktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the Kirk TV End Year New Year Advert Bonanza. PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited brings you Jempa Gardens in Elementaita, Gilgil. The 50 by 100 plots are located 800 meters from Nakuru-Nairobi Highway at the Diatomite Factory. Non-commercial plots are selling at 600,000 Kenya shillings for PCEA Housing Cooperative Society members and 650,000 Kenya shillings for non-members. Commercial plots are selling at 650,000 Kenya shillings for PCEA Housing Cooperative Society members and 700,000 Kenya shillings for non-members. All the plots have ready title deeds. Pay a deposit of 200,000 Kenya shillings and the balance in 3 months. For more information, call us on 0708 145 222, 0708 145 222 or email pcahousing@gmail.com. Jempa Gardens Elementaita by PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited.
I've been together with Kirk TV. We've been working together. It has not been an easy journey, but I thank God because of the team we've been working with, and it has been a very resilient team, very focused, and people who are determined to see to it that Kirk TV stands and continues to thrive. And that team is the one which has caused Kirk TV to be what it is. And I want to thank all of you for this.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
All right, welcome back. This is Kirk in the Morning, the Monday edition. We talk about matters health. Today, we are talking about dental hygiene. Do you have a question? Do you have feedback? Do you have anything that you want to us to talk about this morning? Send us through our SMS number 0341-220044, and of course our Facebook page, that is Kirk TV Kenya. On Twitter, Kirk TV_Kenya, and we'll be able to sample them. Now, before we went to a break, we had questions, and I want to recap them for our expert in studio to just help us understand. One was on the issue with extraction. At what point will a dentist consider an extraction?
So extractions were something that were oftenly done for toothaches. Before, if you had a toothache, automatically your tooth came out. But now with time, we are realizing that your tooth is very important. Number one, for function, which is to eat, and number two, to smile and to function in society. You know, because teeth give us a lot of esteem, more than we give it credit. But it's very important now to save teeth, and your doctor will always try to save your teeth if it is salvageable. However, it depends on how much tooth structure you have left. If your tooth structure is more than 3/4 gone, then unfortunately the tooth at times might not be salvaged. But if you have at least more than half of the structure intact, then your doctor will attempt to save the tooth. And there are ways to save the structure of, the enamel, the dentine, the structure of the tooth. So if you're looking like at the table, if I'm left with half, I know I can repair this half. But if I'm left with just 1/4 of it, then unfortunately I'd need to replace the table. So it's the same thing with teeth. And if you've had teeth removed, the good news is that they can be replaced. But there are teeth that dentists don't tend to save, and those are the molars, the wisdom teeth, the last molars, at the very back. Normally, saving those teeth can be difficult. And when you lose those teeth, it does not affect the functions that I talk about. It doesn't affect how you eat, and it doesn't affect how you look. And so those are teeth, if they're giving you issues, then extraction is normally our go-to. But any tooth before that, if it can be saved, we always strive to save it.
So the first option, when you go to a dentist, should not be extraction?
No, it should not, It should not be extraction.
Unless it's a dentist who wants just to make money. So actually, the best thing is first for the dentist to have an overall look at how your structure is, how the teeth is. And if it can be salvaged, then the better. If it cannot, then
you'll have to let it go.
But it can be replaced. What about what if the issue is the gum and not the teeth itself?
So the gum can also be treated, actually. But also with the gum, if it's too far gone, you find that people will have teeth that are very, very mobile. They are shaking because the gum support is not adequate. And even if you treat those gums, the loss is too much to save the tooth. And at those points, you'll have to lose the tooth. But, and that's why I think frequent dental visits is very important, because you want to avoid getting to the point where you're having an extraction discussion. And of course, toothaches are normally quite horrible. I know, anybody who's had a toothache, you know, it's not one of the best things to experience. And a lot of people who go through that come to the doctor and they're like, just take it out. I don't want to have anything. I don't care. Just take it out. But if your doctor says, well, no, we can save this tooth because you can treat the pain, I would advise anyone to take that option. Yeah.
I don't want to, I think I might preempt this because we look at, you know, the diseases and control. But before then, I'm just trying to compare the past and now. You know, when our forefathers, you know, they didn't have dentists, but they had their teeth. Some died with all their 32 teeth intact. What were they doing right that is a problem nowadays? Because a person who is barely 20, 25, they have half of their teeth removed. And I am talking this because I know my director on the other side could be one of these people. But what are we not doing right that our forefathers were doing?
I think number one, if we look at our diet, is very different. I think our forefathers were not eating as much processed things as we eat today. And
there were no
even if it was,
drinks.
there were no sodas and what have you. And their food generally, even if they had sugar, it was natural sugar. It was not processed or refined. And then number two, I am speculating, but I think their hygiene was also quite good.
You couldn't find them like my grandpa even used an example. You know, he always had that, how did you call that?
Mswaki.
Yes, mswaki. Had that always. Hata kama ameketi hapo akisikiliza redio kake, you could see him doing this always.
Exactly.
The whole day, and he's comfortable.
Yes, because the muswaki, on top of it being a way to clean your teeth, it was also kind of habitual. It's something you just kept in your mouth. So if I'm talking about that you need to brush for 2 minutes, you can imagine your grandfather was doing it the whole day. So his teeth were basically staying clean the whole day. And I think those things helped a little bit. But there's also a genetic component. And you will find there's a familial trait. You will find some families basically by the time they are 40, yes. And if you ask them, did your dad have teeth at 40? He probably didn't. Did your mom have teeth at 40? He probably didn't. So there's also a small genetic component that comes into play. And if your grandfather died with his 32, maybe you should be thanking the genetic traits. But there are some people who, if they were to have their 32 teeth for life, they have to work extra harder, But there are people who, they're kind of just lucky. It can happen.
All right, let's look at another question here. Is it necessary to use a mouthwash, even though I brush my teeth consistently, and what time will be the best for me to use that mouthwash?
Well, we normally say a mouthwash is a good adjunct. It's a good additional tool to your brushing routine. But it is not the only tool you can use. Somebody can say, I've not brushed, but I've used mouthwash.
I've gargled.
It just supports the brushing, because sometimes we might brush, but there are maybe small little areas that the toothbrush might have missed. And that's where the mouthwash will just come in to make sure that it's sorted out the bacteria in those areas. but it is just to support. If you're not using mouthwash, it is not doom and gloom. But it's a good supporting agent. Normally, you can use it after you brush your teeth. So once you're done with your brushing and flossing, which is also very important.
You've used that term for the second time.
Yes.
What is flossing? You know, people might not understand what flossing is.
Yeah, so flossing is a procedure we use to clean in between our teeth, because our teeth touch like that. So if I'm brushing my teeth, it means it's not going right in between the teeth. I'm just brushing the front, the back, and the top. But I am not washing the middle. So flossing, normally it looks like a piece of string, but it's fortified. It's a strong piece of string. And you find it in the supermarket at the toothbrush, toothpaste section. You find the floss, and that's what you use to. You put it in between the teeth and clean whatever gunk is in between there. And for most people, I'll tell you, almost 60% of cavities normally start from there. And that's why sometimes you might be feeling pain, you might be feeling sensitive, but when you go look in the mirror, you don't see an obvious cavity, and then you say, oh, okay, fine, I'm okay. But the cavity is starting from, right those on, spaces. Those spaces where the teeth are contacting. So brushing and flossing is very important. If you're doing those two, the mouthwash is just that extra push. If you're not using mouthwash, but you're brushing and flossing, then you're good. Yeah.
All right. Another question here is I just lost it. Give me a moment. As we continue to talk about that, there are questions coming in, and you are allowed to continue sending them in, because we have time here until 10 a.m. or so to help you ensure that your dental hygiene is top notch. This Dave Pick saying, what causes bad breath and how do I avoid that?
So bad breath can come from a myriad of places, actually. And the first place, of course, if you're having bad breath, could just be how much water you're drinking. If you're dehydrated and your mouth is dry, then you can get bad breath. And that's why I was saying morning breath can be normal, because at night you're not drinking any water, your salivary production is low, and you probably wake up with the morning breath. So if you're going now throughout your day and you haven't had water the whole day, those are conditions that can promote a bad breath. So it's just something simple like that. Or whatever you've eaten, like we said, the onions and the garlic. But two, it can now come from an issue with your mouth. So the issue with the mouth, like we said, is the cavities, which means a hole in the tooth, or the gum disease that we are talking about. The third place it can come from is your tonsils. Okay, so if you have any tonsillitis, sore throat, that can cause bad breath. There are some people who get what we call tonsil stones, and that means your tonsils have like little pockets in them, and when you swallow, every time you swallow your food, some food goes into that pocket. And of course, wherever food is sitting for a long time, it gets bad. So that can also be a cause of bad breath. And it can also come from the stomach. For people who have acid reflux or morning sickness, and they keep regurgitating their food contents from the stomach, you can get bad breath. And finally, it can come from the mind. So yes, from the mind? Yes. So there are people who think they have bad breath even when they don't, and they are convinced that they have it. And there's even a term for it. It's called halitophobia. So I normally say when it comes to bad breath, you might either just be dealing with somebody who needs to tell you, drink some water, you'll be fine. Or you need to deal with a dentist if there's a problem in the mouth. Or you might have to deal with an ENT if it's a problem in the throat. Or a gastroenterologist if it's a problem in the stomach. Or finally a psychiatrist if there's a problem in the mind.
Yes. For me, that's new. I never knew the mind can actually convince one that they have bad breath.
It can,
and
yeah.
they believe so.
They believe, yeah, and they do drastic measures to take care of that.
Now I can tell why some people are just gloomy always. It's because they don't want to smile, they don't want to, laugh because they think they have bad breath.
Yes.
Because just in the mind.
Yeah, it's just in the mind.
Well, I hope that you are getting those insights and they are helpful. Now, another question here is, why do dentists recommend kung'oa meno za juu? This is in a case where both upper and lower teeth have an infection. Why do you recommend kung'oa za juu tu? Hapa chini ni sawa.
Well, I have not heard of any dentist or any situation where we have said, as dentists, tung'oe za juu tuache za chini. Normally, when it comes to extraction, we treat the situation of the tooth. It doesn't matter what position it is in. Maybe if it is your upper teeth mostly that have gone, maybe you can look at your brushing technique. There are things that could have been going there that have affected your upper teeth more than the lower ones. But it is not a common practice to say, if it's an upper one, then we need to extract. If it's a lower one, then we need to forgive. No.
In a case of a filling, is it called filling?
Yes, it's called a filling.
You have teeth, maybe both top and bottom have an issue. And I think what maybe the viewer is trying to say is, you go to a doctor and they tell you we can feel at least the upper ones or the lower ones, but the upper ones it's easier for you to do without. But is that we can feel them?
No, actually, most dentists, there's no preference to what we feel and what we don't feel. We'll treat whatever situation, wherever position the tooth is, yeah.
And that is why I said in vizuri kuwa very careful when you are choosing a dentist, because there are those who are there just for money. And they just want to make money. So, and there are many.
Yeah, but most of us are there for the right reasons. Yeah, so but you will not miss one or two who...
Yeah. And that's with all due respect to the dentist.
Yes.
How should I know when to extract my teeth or just feel it? I think you had touched on this, but you can repeat.
I think you after picking the right dentist, of course, you follow the dentist's recommendations. And if you're not comfortable, and I need to tell, I mean, most Kenyans, sometimes tunafuata vile daktari amesema, even if you're uncomfortable with whatever has been recommended. If you're not comfortable, it is your right to decline treatment and seek a second opinion. But most dentists, I will tell you, will always strive to save the tooth. If you hear a dentist saying, oh, this tooth needs to go, then, it's also very unfortunate for them, I can tell you. I don't like crucifying teeth, but there are those situations where there are no options left,
There's a question here. I see many kids with rotten teeth. I don't know what they meant by rotten. And most times parents don't care much because of the milk teeth will fall out.
Yes.
Does this have an effect? And rotten teeth, rotten milk teeth in baby, of course, talking about rotten milk teeth in the babies.
I think the best way I can try to explain the importance of milk teeth is when you've gone to queue in a very long line and you need to leave the line. You always tell the person behind you, nishikie, nitarudi. And because you don't want to lose that position. And if you're losing it, then you're losing it with the, the risk of coming back and starting the line again. So milk teeth are very important that way, in that they determine how your permanent teeth will come in. And we call them space maintainers. And even with teeth, if you let them stay in for too long, or you remove them too early, or they are rotten for one reason or another, it can actually affect how your adult teeth will come in.
Okay.
So taking care of milk teeth is that feeling that you're like, I won't leave this line, because if I go, I won't come back to this position, or feeling that it is important to tell the person behind or in front of you to keep the space for you. That's what milk teeth do for permanent teeth. Yeah.
So it kind of will determine your,
yes.
let me use this term, the binomial nomenclature, like we used to call that in our biology in high school.
Yes, yeah.
You know, the composition and the structure
yes.
of how your teeth will be.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, I feel if you begin from that early stage, you create a habit
yes.
that now you know tooth cleaning is important.
Yeah, yes.
But when you don't and say these are just milk teeth,
yeah.
drop off,
yes.
then you created a negative or sort of a negligence already from the word go, and that will affect
your adult teeth. Yes, you're right.
Now, we will continue. There are a lot of feedback and questions coming in, but I want us to talk out, talk on, visit or revisit what we were talking about earlier on, what food you should, make a priority in your diet to ensure your oral health. Yeah, what kind of food should I eat? And in what viwango, and then what is this that I should try as possible not to come closer to?
Okay, to be honest, I think with Kenyans I don't panic so much, because most of us enjoy our ugali and githeri and our traditional food. But the things to really look out for is carbonated drinks and very sugary fruits, like food, like your desserts, your chocolate, your sweets, candy. And when it comes to our traditional food, of course, we always kind of have our vegetables in there, which are very good. Green leafy vegetables are very good. For people who can take milk, that is also very good. Of course, anything refined is something you want to limit intake. But the secret, let me tell you, with dental hygiene, if I was here with a physician, I'm sure of course they will talk about what it does to your body. But with dental hygiene, it's the key. If you're gonna have sweets today, it's fine, have the sweets. But before you go to bed, make sure you have cleaned any residue of what you've had during the day. Because one of the things that causes cavities is just having food residue. Even if you've eaten ugali and mboga, you've eaten a healthy meal, but you've left the food residue in your mouth when you're going to sleep, then your chances of getting a cavity might just be as high as the person who ate sweets. Or even lower if you went to bed without brushing your teeth and the person who had sweets brushed their teeth. So making sure your teeth are clean are it's a very key component of dental hygiene. Of course, when it comes to carbonated drink, that has nothing to do with hygiene, because the carbonic feature of the drink will erode the surface of your teeth. If you look at people who put Mentos, they put Mentos in Coca-Cola, and the Coca-Cola dissolves that Mentos. Think of your teeth that way. If you take a lot of those carbonic drinks, then they tend to erode the surface of your teeth. Yeah.
Now, because I thought we had time, the time really flies.
Yeah.
Can we talk about now the conditions that are associated with bad, dental health, we may call it so. The conditions, the diseases that might be associated with that.
In terms of the ones that you might have and they will cause bad dental health?
No, there are diseases that now, how do I call it? If I
inside the mouth.
Yeah, I go to hospital, I have an issue and I'm told now this is the condition. This is the disease. I don't want to call it disease, but I have to use it. But this is what you're suffering from.
Yeah. So I think, of course, the number one thing we always think about is cavities. Even when you look at adverts, they talk about cavities, which will present as a hole in the tooth. Sometimes it's not an obvious hole, like we think, utaona tu kuna shimo kwa jino. Sometimes the body will direct that there's something starting there. It might just be sensitivity or it might be pain. So dental cavities is one of the most common things. Then the other one is gum disease, which your doctor will probably refer to as gingivitis or something called periodontitis. So these are the infections of the soft tissues, the ones that are around the tooth and support the tooth. You might also have some issues that will affect the soft tissues, like fungal infections. You can actually get that in your mouth. You might get sores, which a lot of people get, especially when you have a cold. You might get a sore in your mouth. That is also something we see a lot. And last but not least is cancer.
Mouth cancer.
Yes. So you can get mouth cancer. And because teeth is something most people tend to ignore a lot. And people will come at very late stages of cancer. But if you do have a lesion, even if it's not paining, but it's not going away, but you're seeing, there's some bruising on your soft tissue, then it could actually be cancer. Yeah.
It's maybe because cancer is such a big issue nowadays in our country.
Yeah.
Is it how deadly is that mouth cancer?
Cancer is cancer. So it depends on what stage you seek treatment. If it's in the early stages, it's very treatable. If it is mid stages, you might have to even lose parts of your mouth. And yes, it can be fatal. There are people who have passed away from mouth cancer. Yeah.
So it's important to really be very careful with your dentures. Now, even as we conclude, let's have a look at a few other questions from the viewer. Then now we call it a morning. When should we introduce children to brushing teeth, and what toothpaste is recommended? Of course, we are not going to mention.
Yes. Unless we are brand ambassadors.
I wish we are, but we are not.
But tooth cleaning, like I said, you do it as soon as possible. You're not introducing a toothbrush immediately. You can just wipe the surfaces of the teeth to make sure that they are clean. You can just use warm water to start with before you introduce toothpaste. And then about 1 year, it depends on the child, about 8 months to 1 year, there are children who, you can introduce a toothbrush. Nowadays, there are toothbrushes that you can, they have, like you can insert it on your fingertip.
Yes.
And then you use your fingertip to brush the teeth, because the toothbrush now is attached to that. So those are kind of small tricks that you can use when you're brushing your baby's teeth. And then eventually, and I said we are very fortunate, us growing up, there was only one size of a toothbrush. It didn't matter whether you are 4 years old or... But nowadays, if you go to the supermarket, they have toothbrushes that are small enough, to introduce to a smaller child and progress as you go. Yeah.
Good. I had a tooth filling recently, and 2 months later, my tooth is still sensitive, especially when taking hot and cold food or drinks. Is this normal?
No. If it's about 2 months, it's something that needs to be checked. Yeah. So if you're still feeling your sensitivity after the filling has been done, you probably need to go back and report those symptoms to your dentist. They'll probably take an X-ray to see what is happening probably underneath the filling. It can happen. Yeah, it's something that can happen.
And of course, Dr. mentions brushing and flossing. What's flossing? Maybe to repeat, maybe the viewer was not on the telly, and you help me understand, because I had that problem as well, so you may help them.
Yeah, so flossing is a procedure we use to clean in between the teeth, right in between, because our teeth touch each other like that. If our teeth were separated, then your toothbrush would be able to get all the surfaces. But unfortunately, there are surfaces of our teeth that touch each other like that. And so you need something that can go in between there and clean the teeth. So flossing, when you're flossing, dental floss is a kind of string. That's the best way I can describe it, so that the string can fit in between the teeth and clean those surfaces. Yeah.
Can I use any string?
No, floss is it's stronger if you use any string, because sometimes our contacts are very tight. There the teeth contact is very tight, and if you use a string, you might pull it out and leave a piece of string in there, which will also give you a headache. Yeah. So floss at least is tailor-made to make sure, you know, it can go in and come out and do the cleaning efficiently.
They are in the supermarket?
Yes, they're in the supermarket. If you go to the toothbrush, toothpaste section, you'll see dental floss.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, even as we conclude, now this is a tough one. Which toothpaste is best? The market is saturated with so many confusing toothpaste. Maybe talk about, you know, the components and the ingredients of you know, toothpaste. Are toothpastes all equal and, you know, the same in terms of ingredients and components?
Let me say most of the known brands have the same components and are safe. If you get a toothpaste that's written in another language, then that is tricky, because you're not able to certify what is in the toothpaste. But fluoride is an important thing to have in your toothpaste if you're looking for something. And of course, we have sometimes the herbal toothpastes that have, you know, chamomile and sage. Those are good for your gum health. But like I said, muswaki haina toothpaste, you know. What is important is the cleaning, you know what I mean? Like making sure, because I might apply toothpaste to the tooth, and that won't help me if I haven't used the toothpaste to clean the surface of the tooth. But most known brands are, I would recommend them. Yeah.
Now, is it important to look at also the best date? You know, best before in toothpaste?
Yes, I mean, with all medical things, you know, all medication, it's very important to look at that. But toothpaste has a long shelf life. Yeah, so that's not something most people will worry about. Yeah,
and
but like I said,
is also not as bad.
Yes.
Okay. I think there are a lot of questions, but time is not on our side as well. I believe that someday we'll have the same opportunity to help our viewer understand deeply onto these issues that pertain to our oral health. Maybe to give you a moment to, if you have another closing remarks as far as dental hygiene is concerned, before we call it a day here.
I think what I always say before before I leave, I tell people, if you're gonna forget everything I said, just brush your teeth at night.
Okay.
That's number one. And then just brush the teeth you want to keep. If you just want to keep these two, just brush those ones. If you want to keep all of them, then you better do a good job about brushing all of them. And the final thing is about how much our smiles matter. You know, we think about teeth just as teeth, but our teeth are a great source of most of our social interactions. I tell people, you know, it's probably the only reason you have the spouse you have. It's probably the only reason you have the job you have. You want to be able to feel confident. You want to be able to articulate yourself, you know, in front of people without feeling shy. And a lot of people who've lost their teeth, they really struggle through some of these things. And so if you have yours intact, then you really need to take care of them.
I'm just imagining if I didn't have teeth, I'll be running this interview this morning. I'll be struggling to bring out the wordings properly. So it's important to take care of our teeth. Thank you for being with us this morning. This has been a really good and eye-opening conversation this morning on issues dental hygiene, dental health, oral health with Dr. Karemi Kinyua. She is a dentist, of course, and an expert on matters dental hygiene. So we are glad that you gave us your morning, part of your morning here, and we believe that the viewer is happy as well, according to the feedback, of course, that we are getting here. So I want to also close with a quote, and Dr. said, if you don't, at least, if you don't have to clean all your teeth, but clean those
the ones
that
you want to keep, yes.
Okay, that means all your teeth. If you want to keep one, just brush it. But if you want to have all your teeth intact, then clean all of them. Now I want to close with mine that's saying, be true to your teeth and they won't be false to you. My name is Vincent Kirosi. Thank you for being with us. I'll see you again later, God willing. Have a nice morning and a nice beginning to the week. It is the end of October. Tomorrow we begin a new month, and we believe that the new month blessings will come your way as we continue this week. God bless. See you.